Welcome to Bill and Rob's An Excellent Adventure. I'm Bill Tilley.
And I am Rob Schulte. Bill, we're back at it again.
We are indeed. Everything is back. We're getting a little chill tonight, talking about one of my favorite movies. I'm just going to go ahead and put it out there now because I'm not going to be able to hide it too much. But even with your favorite movies, you always have an interesting conversation, I think, because you're always finding something new and unique to talk about. So this is going to be a fun night. And this is a movie that I am very excited to hear what you have to say, Rob. So I know, a little peek behind the kimono, you had a couple of misfires on getting a record date down.
Yeah.
So now that you've actually one apiece, put each other off a day or so on what we've had to do, I'm ready to go, man. Do you ever get that? Like when we have to bump stuff and you're like, oh,
yeah,
I don't like that at all. It just makes me crazy to want to do that.
Oh, yeah. I think like the thing for me is like, it's always when the bump comes like unexpectedly, but like I've been planning for it, which doesn't really happen with us much at all. But it is one of those things when it's like, all right, hey, I'm sending you the link. You're like, actually, I can't. And this has actually never happened with you, Bill, but there have been people in my past that I'm like, hey, just sent you the link via email. And they're like, can we actually do another day? And it's like, well, someone asked me to get dinner tonight and I said no. So why don't wait until me? You just tell me.
So you've been pre-link bumped?
Oh,
like link in the chamber, ready to fire.
Yes.
No, see that.
And the link is
rough.
what has told them, reminded them that they have to cancel.
Oh, yeah, I would never do that to you. I'd have to have been hit on the head by a coconut.
Oh,
and believe me, I take that seriously because I have set up protocols with my wife for coconut-related memory loss. Too many episodes of Gilligan's Island growing up.
Yeah.
I know that's the only thing that happens when you get hit on the head with a coconut. You just lose it. And
sometimes you put the lime in it.
That's true. You mix it all up, and then I get all mixed up. But yeah, I would never do that to you. No way. That would be an absolute travesty.
But it has the fact that both of us have had reasons to bump this recording a week and then a day and then whatnot. I mean, we're not doing it on a Monday. We just understood this. And
no, and it's weird because you do get the premeditated bump, like you see it coming. Mine is more like a real bummer because usually it's a day that is kind of grindy in the first place. And I'm looking forward to doing the recording with you. And then it gets so far into it where I'm like, damn.
Yeah.
No, it's the day's not going to let me have my joy. And that sucks.
And that's not the environment we want to do these episodes in, which I should say, Bill, I'm really loving this live stream format. I mean, like we are so like simpatico when it comes to like how we do this show that it's great. And we really fire on most cylinders most of the time. Sometimes we need a jump start, but we really get this pod going and it's fun because now we can do the live streams on Twitch and then provide that audio and video, which we've said the last 4 episodes behind the paywall. But it then offers something to the fans that don't want to wait a few weeks to see or hear the episode, right? There's just there's only benefits to this.
Yep. I've said since we started talking about movies in the first place that this is just the conversation we would have if we lived down the hall and we were sitting in the living room back and forth, just watching this stuff. It's just a blast. It's what it is. And so this format's kind of more like that. So if you watch this one, you get a little bit of the unpolished version of this. And when you listen to the other stuff behind the paywall, you get the tweaked version where if we have to fix a little blurb or something like that. But, the essence of it is always the same. And that's the best part. We don't really have any airs we put on or fake any stuff behind the scenes or do any weird edits. It's a great conversation. I think it's one of the best ways to do stuff like this. So I really enjoy it. Can
I propose an idea to you?
Always.
In the past, we've talked about doing a live show near your hometown. And I still think like we could find an Eagles Lodge out there or something and do that. But also, you've got a nice like fire pit backyard. I'm sure it's a place where the family gathers every now and again. We should just pop the old picnic table up, rent a little sound system from Best Buy or something around that area. I'm sure there's a mom and pop shop. And let's just invite the friends and family over, and we'll pass the hat to help Rob, get back home on a bus. And that's all we need. That's our live show.
This literally will be an event that we will trick Rob into coming to my house and then provide him with no way of getting home. He must pod for his supper.
Yes, I think that would.
Dude,
but we'd also
hilarious.
guilt our friends pretty heavily, and that would get me that bus ticket, I think.
Could be. I do have a line in with the local comic shop owner. I have pitched this idea to him, and he was interested in it. His shop is pretty small to have it there, but he could probably
an outdoor event sponsored by the comic shop.
Could be, yeah, very well be. And honestly, we've had so many events plus my wedding. It's like I have mixing equipment and speakers here at the house, so I have a large building I need to redo a little bit. It's basically a big barn, so maybe we just turn that into the pod barn, and that's our business.
I love it, and I think we should do it. And I'm not taking no for an answer. So let's
tell the wife.
Plan for September or October. I think would be a perfect time for this. Nice, cool evening.
Oh yeah. Actually out there in the 112% humidity of Ohio in midsummer. That's probably a good idea.
Well, let's we're tabling it, but it's on the agenda.
It is indeed. So we're going to table this hot topic, and we're going to move our attention to a very cool topic, particularly the movie we're come to talk about tonight, 1984's Ice Pirates. Now, Rob, I'm going to assume that for this movie, you couldn't go down into the salt mine directly and get the VHS copy of this. I'm going to guess had to travel maybe back through some kind of like subarctic chamber where everything is, well cooled down so that all the tape and all the plastic stays in a nice solid environment. Is that something like that?
Yeah, I had to take 2 elevators, some chiseled into the cave stairs, and then a makeshift dumbwaiter to get this version of the Ice Pirates.
Yeah.
But
I have a framed picture of Otto Preminger from Batman next to the dumbwaiter. I like that. That was a nice touch.
It was. But I have it right here in my hands, pristine condition, still in the cellophane, except for the little slit I cut to watch it for this episode. Bill, would you like me to read the back of this box?
I would love to hear your smooth voice take on the summary on the back of this box. Let me have it, Robs.
It's the best star-studded entertainment in the galaxy. It's the Ice Pirates, the swashbuckling sci-fi adventure that will blast you right into orbit. Starring Robert Urich and Mary Crosby, Ice Pirates is the spectacular space odyssey set 10,000 years in the future. It's a mighty, thirsty universe whose entire water supply is controlled by the evil Templar Empire. They ship frozen blocks of the precious fluid across the far reaches of space. Only the Ice Pirates, the bravest bunch of buccaneers ever to steer a starship, can hijack the frozen treasure. A dazzling display of weird creatures and wild special effects. The Ice Pirates reaches far into fantasy to create a universe of visual excitement, a time and place belonging only to the realm of the imagination. Robert Urich plays the dashing pirate leader with plenty of swash and buckle, while Mary Crosby sizzles as the interstellar beauty who captures our hero's heart. Loaded with thrills and romance, Ice Pirates bursts with the energy of the stars to bring you first-rate intergalactic entertainment. Get on board with the Ice Pirates for the wildest space ride this side of the Milky Way.
So, a little more behind the scenes on this. So I was researching the back of these boxes too. And there's always some on the internet that are different sayings depending on where you get them from. I gotta say, I found one that I'm absolutely certain was photoshopped by somebody in the modern day with a modern agenda, because they had changed the front text to basically be an indictment of global warming.
Interesting.
Yeah, the way it was phrased was pretty much present day. And once I zoomed up on it, and you could see the very pixelated Times New Roman font. put over top of the old box. It's like, I just want to meet the person who decided that, yeah, I know the perfect cover and perfect movie to get this message out with, and it's going to be the Ice Pirates.
Yeah, that movie everyone remembers.
Yeah. I gotta say though, usually I'm down with this, and this is not an indictment of the movie. But I don't particularly care for the back of this box. I don't think it's very exciting.
No, it's, you know what it is? It's what's that phrase? Brevity is the soul of wit.
Yeah.
It goes on a little too long. Like,
Yeah.
I don't need to be convinced who's Swash and who's Buckle, and I get it. Ice Pirates. Just tell me space, water, hero, villain, boom, bang, bing. We're done.
Yep. It's far too wordy. It's far too wordy. But it does get the point. I do like the last sentence. That feels like the back of a VHS tape sentence with that one right there.
I'm surprising the phrase tour de force didn't happen in this.
Probably, although I am excited to tell you that the back of this box is going to come into play later in our show.
Interesting. Now, Bill, before we get into our patented segments, this brings Macho Cheese to a close. Now, do you feel that Macho Cheese was everything you had planned it to be? Do you feel like the macho-ness and the cheeseness lived up to your own expectations?
I think overall the Macho Cheese series was pretty good. If I had to rate it easily, I think it comes in a solid B.
Okay.
I will admit I could have gone a lot more on each Macho and Cheese segment, but I kind of wanted to hit this group of movies and they fell within the category. This movie is not so macho-y or cheesy, but it's got the elements in there. But I think for Macho Cheese, Mo Macho Mo Cheese, the sequel series we'll do someday, there's gonna be so much macho, like your computer screen will just grow chest hair immediately. That's going to be the goal for that series again. But I'm real happy with how it turned out. How about you? Did you get enough macho and cheese in your diet from what I've picked?
So let's see here. I think that your picks have been both macho and cheese, and I have enjoyed every version of this. But I will say I expected, having started with Action Jackson, that we were going more Carl Weathers and less Ice Pirates, quite frankly. And because, and we'll get into this as we talk, I'm not sure how much macho-ness was in... Actually, that's not true. Ice Pirates has a lot of macho-ness, not muscliness. So, but we'll get there. We'll get there. Let's just put it this way. I've enjoyed seeing all of these movies, but I haven't loved all of these movies. But we've talked about that. We know.
Yeah.
We know.
We do indeed. And that was one of my primary fears at the start, because I was afraid that they would all be like just straight Action Jackson Bane. And I didn't want that. I wanted to try to shake things up a little bit and have those characters be in different settings. So this was a bit of an experimental Macho Cheese. So I guess, you know what? This has been more of a macho fondue.
A macho fondue.
Yeah. I think
love that.
It's a little extra creamy when what we really need is just a big old block of cheese with holes in it and some mustache drawn on it for next time.
A macho brie.
Yeah. And you've seen my Plex, so you know I can deliver this.
But I think nonetheless, you've created a great series, and we should get into our fantastic segments. How about that? What are we going with first?
Well, as always, we're going with our segment where we try to find a couple of fun facts that we could share with our viewers and friends out there about the movie we just watched. So I have called our fact section this time, Little Guys Try Harder.
Okay.
After one of the nice little robots in the movie who, he was a try-hard, and he was little, and this is a little movie that tries hard. So,
well, would you like to go first, or would you like me to?
Let's see. I think I'm going to let you go first, because I think some of our stuff, as usual, ties into each other.
Yes, that's true. Well, I think I'll start with the film This fact, I should say first off that this fact made me realize that a lot of the issues I had with this film are justified because of this fact. And that's that the film was intended to be a serious sci-fi film, a la Dune, the new Dunes, not the David Lynchian Dunes. Uh, and they had a $20 million budget. But MGM, like most major companies, decided this isn't the route we want to go. We're going to slash the budget and give you $8 million, not even half of what we had told you we were going to give you. And then we want the script rewritten and not to be a serious sci-fi film, but more of a comedy, which doesn't land in some spots, lands perfectly in others. And then the seriousness is peppered in and you're like, wait, what the hell am I watching here? And you just kind of got to go, MGM, what are you doing?
Well, I think my fact actually will elucidate a little bit of your fact. Yeah, I actually found an interview with the director, Stuart Raffle, and he went over some of these things, particularly exactly what you said, how the budget got cut down. And he's like, apparently it was a conscious decision for the comedy because they're like, there's no way this works seriously anymore. I mean, we've got to make it funny. And I think it's weird in the sense of, you're right. The movie straddles a line that's hard to hit sometimes, but it's not full airplane, which a lot of times it feels like it's trying for that.
Yes.
And it's not like Ernest Goes to Camp Crazy farce. There's a little bit of that in there. But then there's these pseudo-serious moments of acting in there that you're just like, huh. And they're not like serious moments in like a Naked Gun or an Airplane where they're very serious about what the thing is, but still funny. It's like, it's genuine. So it's a weird hit. So I'm glad they took the tack that they did. I'm not sure how this movie would have gone full serious, but one of the things that explains that is 3 weeks before this movie was scheduled to shoot, after I think it was 18 months of pre-production is what they'd put into it. Something like that. It was a lot. MGM got a new studio head, and the new studio head immediately tried to cancel this entire movie.
Whoa.
He wanted it gone because the producer of the movie at some point in the past had said something what the new MGM had deemed negative towards Paul Newman's wife. Now, how does this tie together? The new MGM head is friends with Paul Newman. Therefore, in that whole "I got your back, bro," he just decided that he's just going to take out this whole movie out of spite for something that one person said at a party, who knows how long ago. Is that not some bullshit, Rob? Because I heard this and I'm like, I so can and can't believe this is how business is done in Hollywood then and today, that one person could torpedo an entire production and people's lives and livelihood and income on something just because he's got his nose out of joint about something. Is that not insane?
It's insane. There are too many people working on a film like this to just fire the dude, right? Just fire the person you don't like, and not, like you said, ruin people's livelihoods. Now, is everyone working on this film, getting set for life on it? No, but it's paying the bills needed for this point in time. It's building their resume. It's getting them work on other films. Yeah. And that's such bullshit executive behavior,
It is. And I'm always for Joe Average, because I am Joe Average. Do you think there's guys that, I build sets, therefore if I build sets, I make money. And that's how I do my gig. And you just don't consider that. Like, you consider one person, or I know a lot of us think, well, the movie goes, and you kind of only think of the cast. Like, well, if the Tom Cruise movie doesn't happen, well, he's Tom Cruise, big deal. But look in the credits, man. There are thousands of names in these stupid credits. They go on and on and on. Yep. Now, are they making a chunk off no, but they need the role. They need to keep the thing going so that they can keep coming to work and working on stuff. So,
well, it's like when people go, oh yeah. And it's like when people go, why would you work with Mel Gibson? Why would these people do something like that? And you're like, well, sometimes you don't really have a choice. You either get the gig that pays the bills, or you wait and hope to get another gig. And if this is your job, that becomes a very risky maneuver because you don't like something someone did at one point in time. And not like any of these people are having to like go to dinner and sit down with this dude they don't like, right? It's a job. And sometimes jobs have, I mean, any company you work for probably has some really rich person at the top who has made very bad decisions. And sorry, sucks.
Yeah, absolutely. So boo on this whole thing. More checks and balances, always preferred by me. So
yes.
That was pretty interesting. So what else have you found in your trek through the universe of ice pirates?
Well, I was thinking, the thing is, you work for off Star Trek Industrial Complex. Kind of like off Broadway, and a person who invented Star Trek is a man who goes by the name of Gene Roddenberry. So this is a sci-fi film, and Gene Roddenberry's a sci-fi guy. I would say a sci-fi guy with more misses than hits, but when he hit it pretty hard. And I would say that, for all of his warts, he has a good opinion on like things sci-fi related, even though the execution isn't always perfect. And he had jokingly said in the past that this film, The Ice Pirates, is singularly responsible for bringing back the death penalty in California.
That seems harsh.
A little bit. But he jokingly said it. And I don't think it has anything to do with the script or the people involved, but the fact that the budget was cut and they had to change midway from serious sci-fi to comedy. Like, none of those things are going to help.
Could be. And now, I remember these times, and you tell me, Rob, if you think they still exist, because I remember the days, especially in the 80s, where if you made a sci-fi movie, if you make Ice Pirates, the periodicals from Starlog to any newspaper decides they're going to write something about it. They'll seek out your sci-fi headliners, your Asimovs, your Roddenberrys, your Sagans. Like, they would go to and it was a fairly small group. And it was always weird to hear what one of them had to say about the other, because I was never sure, like, are you serious or are you dogging it so your stuff looks better? But you could always count on like some kind of pull quote from one to 10 of these people throughout the course of this thing being marketed or talked about. And I don't know. I don't think that exists today at all. Do you?
Yeah, it's called podcasts.
Yeah, but those are run by us. We're the ones out there, watching and paying for it. So now they've got every opinion in the world, which, like causes its own problems. It's good that it's possible.
True.
It's hard to wade through sometimes, but that is wild.
Well, what's your last little fun fact? You're a little guy trying harder.
So part of this whole mishmash of a story, and come with me back to the back of the box where it has that remark about how this movie is set 10,000 years in the future.
Yes.
No, I don't know where they got that from, because it's not really mentioned anywhere in the movie, but it was supposed to be, because apparently the final scene of this movie, once they reach the seventh world, which looks remarkably like a world that we are very familiar with, which happens a lot in these movies of the day, they were supposed to fly down to it. And if they had done that, the final scene was the ship would have gone over Malibu. And they would have watched surfers and people laying out, and basically they would have kind of been like stunned by the whole water centric culture, because they don't have it. Not sure how the scene looked because I didn't see it, but apparently it was filmed and it was in the movie. And circle back to new MGM head who hates this movie and everybody with it. He pulled the ending and didn't tell director Stuart Raffle about it at all, who didn't know that until he went to screen the movie at its premiere. And notice when you get to the end of the movie, how that's just freeze frame, chip style.
Yep.
Cut to credits. Yeah, that's not where the movie was supposed to end.
Wow.
It was supposed to end that other way. Now, I will say this much. Me personally, I'm glad they didn't do that ending.
Really?
I'm glad they didn't do it, because I don't think it would have added anything to the mystique of the movie. It would have just been a shot of Earth that we would have seen in 1984, which we were familiar with, which we already know this is Earth. So if you go to the bother of going and showing them flying over Malibu and looking down, like, what does that do for your ending?
Yeah.
It doesn't really add, it doesn't promise a new sequel. It doesn't do much. At least as it is when it's freeze frame on happy face, they made it through and they're all alive. You know, I can get behind that. That's kind of a nice, quick, happy ending. So I'm going to side with jerk MGM head on this, even though I think he did the right thing for the wrong reason.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
But that's still something where I wonder, is that even still possible today, or has the system changed so much that I know the studio can do what they want, but the idea of recutting a film in any way after the director's cut it, I mean, that just feels like such sacrosanct, and to not tell them, that's just crazy.
Yeah, I have a feeling it could still happen, but they probably just don't care, as much. They're pumping out so much shit, But we should talk about things we liked in this movie, Bill. What are you calling that segment?
I'm calling this segment in honor of a certain little robotic character that we meet about halfway through. Say, blood, you want to see some likes? Got the finest likes in the galaxy.
Oh, God. Here's one thing I liked. Well, a couple things, Bill. The gadgets and the doodads looked really good. They looked great. This movie did a very good job with all of its props and scenery. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah. Get right into it. I had the same feeling. The entire look of this film is really good. And there's things we've seen before, and it's standard sci-fi fare, like the recycling of stuff, and you see props from other things. And in the background of this movie, the whole time, like, I know this is going on, and I could spot one or two things, but the miniatures that they use are pretty good. The matte paintings, the locations they shoot on, we've got our classic industrial location, Rob RoboCop style, where we're back in the factory.
Oh yeah,
and they do some stuff there. They're out in the desert, of course, because there's always a desert part of the desert planet, and it's probably somewhere by Scottsdale. About the same in all of them. But overall, as you're watching this whole movie, it all looks new. It all looks in a way that works together. It feels pretty seamless, and not in your Roger Corman way where things can jump around and ships can change from shot to shot that you're supposed to be in and all this kind of stuff. And most movies, especially sci-fi movies of the day, did that, but they don't pull it off nearly as well for whatever reason that they can't. But this thing is really cool to watch. Like, all the sets, there's some huge sets in this movie.
Yeah.
Just in the hallways alone, there's 1,000 blinky lights. Like, and nowadays when I watch them, I'm like, somebody had to go through and build all these lights. That's insane. It just really builds a world that once in a while you get a little glimpse of normalcy of something like, oh, that's just their version of a car. I get that. But it looks futuristic. It looks outworldly, and I was down for it. And apparently, you know who else was down for it?
Who?
Mel Brooks.
Really?
Because he saw this movie, and when he went to shoot Spaceballs, bunch of these sets were still around, and he apparently used them. So next time you watch Spaceballs, take a gander, and you'll probably see some familiar architecture in that movie that's linked back to its Ice Pirates DNA.
That rules. I really like that.
That's cool.
That's very cool. My other, like, My Blood is very similar, small, short, but I'm sure it goes right into yours too. Like, there is so much swashbuckling fun in this movie, and you forget sometimes that a pirate movie needs swashbuckling fun. And for everything that you can say against this movie, one thing you cannot say is that this does not have swashbuckling fun, because it does around every single corner. I loved it. And I love people swinging from ropes, playing with them swords, wearing puffy pirate shirts. It's great. Yeah,
it's a high energy movie, and we've said this before. One of the cardinal sins of movies is put it in the title, but don't put it in the movie. Like, if you call your movie Robo Vampire, there'll be some robos and there better be some vampires.
Yep.
Same with this. There's a lot of ice and a lot of pirating, and it's cool. And it's not
a lot of ice.
In volume when you see it on screen.
Sure.
Now remember, the ice is scarce, so you're not supposed to see a bunch of ice.
That's true.
That's just in there. But when they're doing it well. And my other like ties in again to that because a lot of that comes off with this cast. I love the cast of this movie. We've got some real bangers, especially one of my favorite actors of all time, Robert Urich. I love Robert Urich in just about everything. He was in a TV show called Spencer for Hire, one of my favorites. Robert Urich's just got that quality of a guy. He's kind of in there in the Frakes category with I'm not starstruck and I'm not a star chaser, but if I were ever to be able to have met somebody, I would love to have met him. Sadly, he is gone and has been gone for several years, but it seemed like a great, fun guy. And that whole character of his comes through in Jason, the leader of the Ice Pirates. And, special props to him and to Mary Crosby for being down to do their own Indiana Jones behind the truck dragging stunts.
Yes.
Did you pick up on that there are 2 times in this movie where Robert Urich is drugged behind something and it's out in the desert? One's like that weird misty planet, and that's where Mary Crosby gets hers. And it's them. I mean, they're on a skid pad for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
But they're on the ground and they are moving. There's no stunt people in that. And I have such just love for people who are willing to put their face in the dirt and be seen doing some of the real stuff. I don't expect them to do all of it, but boy, when you do see him do one like that, it's great. And oddly enough, one of the things we talked about earlier about how, this movie has serious parts where you're not really sure what to do with them. Mary Crosby, for me, gets credit for one of those because when she finds her father's ring that allows her to get like the Princess Leia hologram of him, and he's telling her stuff, it's heart-wrenching to watch her watch this thing because she puts so much emotion in this scene. And that's one of those scenes that for 45 seconds, a minute most, this lasts, all the comedy goes away.
Mm-hmm.
And this is just dead serious. And she nails it. I mean, you watch her cry and tear up and her emotional reaction to it. It's really amazing. They had some great acting in this movie. And although that one falls into a category I'm not sure we're actually happy is there overall, you can't deny that she did it well. She did it so well.
That's so true. And it's great. And, you know me, I recently started watching Dallas. And so Mary Crosby, I knew I recognized her from something.
Mm-hmm. Sue Ellen's sister, Kristen.
Yep. Well, Bill, they can't all be good. They can't all be blood. Sometimes things are not as good.
No, sometimes you look into your movie and you want to just see something awesome, but all you find at the bottom of that tin holding the film is a big old solar steamer.
Oh, we hate a solar steamer.
We do hate a solar steamer. So we found a couple in this movie. We're going to have to talk about them. We have no choice. We're contractually obligated. So
it's true. Bill, I've gone first the last 2. Do you want to go first?
I do indeed. One of the things that I don't care about for this movie overall is there's too much going from place to place. This is one of those movies that 90% of the movie is the journey to get from one place to get to the other place, to get to the next place, to find the thing, didn't find the thing, go find the thing somewhere else. And that always makes the movie drag for me. And the middle of the movie drags. And this is only an hour and a half movie. So it's not that long. So that's not good that you ever have that feeling in a 90-minute movie. And it's probably some of it is down to the way it got hacked off at the budget with the story. There's reasons, but I got to say, I think they could have fixed a lot of that because I think they could have tightened up some of these scenes. I think they could have skipped a few of these stops along the journeyway and just added more pirate action because I would like to have seen even more pirate action. We get a decent amount of it for the movie, but I could have used more because that's what I was there for. So if they could have had the crew do a couple more raids, take on a couple more garrisons of troops, a little more swinging across the stars to get onto the other ship, broadside style, that would have been good for me. I would have really liked that instead of just more of, we got to go here. We got to go there. We got to go there.
You make such a good point. It's tough because, this all comes back to what they've, been subjected to in terms of, how this is getting done with the comedy, but all the stuff we've talked about, comedy, drama, budget cuts, whatever. But there is like a point that comes where you're like, maybe we can lose the powdered wig scenes and just figure out a different way for them to be with the princess, like that. As silly as it was, and I'm sure went over very well in 1984, like it really is a scene that does not matter because it's a means to the end of just getting them with the princess.
Mm-hmm. It is.
There's other scenes that are like good, technically speaking, like they look cool, but are they needed? You're right. I'm just right there with you on all this, Bill. But I will say that from my point of view, I was like 1 year old when this came out, so I don't have many memories from around this time. But there is some like stuff that like we want to like the ice pirates, but we're introduced to Jason being like a total creep, and we're kind of like, well, you're not winning me over, main character. And then there's some like both overt and subtle like racism that happens in the movie, which some of it's played for jokes, and I understand the time this movie was made, all that sort of stuff. Another one feels like just like, whoa.
Mm-hmm.
Like, was this the first scene that we filmed after being told this wasn't or I guess it was turned into a comedy, but like maybe that's a scene that could have been cut when we were told this was going to be a comedy. And so there was just a lot of like hurdles to get over trying to like really just take this movie for what it is.
Yeah, and it's something that I will tell you is in a DNA thing in most of the movies of my generation that were made during this time. And I don't know if it's just that it feels like low hanging fruit,
Yeah.
I think there's a difference between like a 12-year-old saying some of the things that are said in this movie by adults.
Yeah.
And you would watch it and you would go, okay, childish humor, child doing childish humor, meh, might land, might not, probably not. But when an adult does it, you're like, ugh, clang. Yeah. And there are a couple of big clangers. My wife was on the couch. We'd watched this movie before, and she's like, oh, forgot that part. That's kind of bad. And I'm like, yeah, that remark's kind of bad. And that particular portrayal is not so great. And it is a bummer because, nowadays, especially any adult with any sense is going to watch it and go, ugh, could have skipped that, just like you did.
And I will say, it doesn't take away, like, it didn't make me like hit the power button, right? Like, I get that this movie's made. I want to shout out that in the chat, Boba Binks says, I saw this movie when it came out. I barely remember it, but it seems to decay into madness. And I think by the end of this movie, you're right, Boba. This does kind of decay into madness.
Yeah. Shout out to another one of us who saw this live. I saw this in the theater when I was 11 years old. So sure, that went over well when I got back, but my sister took me and I could see anything with her.
Well, Bill, what was your other solar steamer?
My other solar steamer is, oh boy, like I don't like the old age makeup at the end of this movie. Now, I know this is a thing that happens, and this can go two ways. And I think here's the thing. You can take the old age makeup on an actor seriously, and you can kind of take it for comedy. What I'm going to tell you is, in 1984, no matter which way you take it, it's going to look like shit. It's just, it doesn't land. It's not good. I'm going to say maybe the last setup for old Jason, where he has the real long father time, straggly beard. That's not so bad. But here's the big thing about it. Like, I can forgive it because it's part of the problem of the movie. They're in a time warp. This is happening. We got to show them getting older. But at the very end, they switch out the actors for old Corinna and old Jason and put two actual elderly actors in this part who don't look anything like them, which just so they can get Robert Urich to play Jason Jr. in the same scene. And this drives me batshit crazy every time because that's not how sons and fathers work. We don't look identical to our dads. It's not a one-to-one replacement. It's just like, don't do that movie. You're asking me for too big a suspension of disbelief in a movie where it's not hard to ask me for anything because I don't take it too seriously. And this just comes off as so goofy. It just, I hate it. I hate it so much.
I'm right there with you. It was really bad, but I will say during the whole time warp sequence, I was like, oh, okay, kind of cool that they sometimes like speed up the frame rate to like show us it's like not steady, but then it
That I
becomes
like.
steady. And I was like, okay, so they're all growing beards, but their hair's staying the same length. And then after that, it was like off to the races. It's like, then their hair started getting long. Then they started getting wrinkles. And then it was like, by the time it was Father Time, I was just like, I just threw my hands up. I was like, all right, this is great. Okay. Yep. But yeah, I'm right there with you. It's not done well. And to that, it was probably the funniest thing in the movie for what part of the crew was like, this is going to be hilarious. And part of the crew was just like, oh God, we're not doing this any justice.
No.
Well, my other solar steamer, Bill, for a movie called The Ice Pirates, we had very little concern for water in the actual movie itself. Like they say water is a limited resource a lot, but we never actually see it. Like it seems like a lot of people are eating a lot of fruit in this movie, which needs water. They go to one planet where they're doling out water limitedly, but it doesn't seem like anyone's like having trouble getting water or surviving without water. So I would have liked this to either be just a swashbuckling movie in the future about bad guys and good guys and leave the ice and water part out of it, or actually have made the Ice Pirates something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it's a hard thing to think of because none of us are. Well, I won't say that. Maybe we have some friends out there who are astrophysicists and physicists and biologists who can, but I think we're pretty well known that the ability to have water throughout a galaxy-wide stretch of real estate, like it's going to be out there somewhere. The odds are pretty low that you can't find some more. So that is a hard bit to disbelieve. So it's a weird thing to fight over. You know, if they could, I mean, if you'd made it just a planet-wide thing, like a Mad Max style did, you know, I could get behind that. That would have been plebeian. But yeah, it could have been something else.
Yeah.
That made a lot more sense. Or, yeah, like you said, show me the suffering of the worlds, or tell me something, illustrate some way why this is such a big deal. Because everybody looks pretty good. They look pretty clean. Don't really seem to be doing too bad. So it's a weird. It's a shortage that we're not really sold in any way.
Yeah, and we got very little Ron Perlman. I just got to throw that in there.
We did, and I have a side question. I don't know. I'd like to ask Ron Perlman. Was he trying to sound like Paul Lynde with his weird accent that he has throughout this movie? Because I think he's trying. And
it comes and goes. Chef.
Yeah, it does. It goes away, and then it comes. It really comes back when he's in the kitchen for some reason.
And I feel like that's part of the like weird things that don't age well. Like, oh, because he's cooking, but he also sometimes has that accent in scenes where he wasn't cooking. So I don't know what's going on here.
Sadly, apparently, Ron Perlman is not a fan of his work in this movie and dogs it every chance he gets, which I find very sad.
Well, maybe if it was a whole comedy or a whole hard sci-fi movie, he would feel differently.
Maybe. His loss, because you should be proud of the things that make people laugh.
Yeah. Well, Bill, are you proud of our final segment on today's episode? I guess not final segment. Final segment leading up to our rating.
Yes, our final discussion segment of the show. And this one in honor of another part of the film that shows water being freely used in a disgustedly decadent way for no reason other than their own enjoyment. And then it's not precious at all, although I wonder if they recycle that water again for this scene.
Hey.
The amusing parts that we found, I have dubbed, it's a passion storm of amusement.
Well, Bill, where would you like to start?
I'm going to start towards the beginning. The main leads, Jason and Roscoe, played by Michael D. Roberts, wonderful actor of the time, great guy to see on screen. They get caught. They're taken to the industrial jail, which really looks great considering we know it's a dock, but whatever. They did a good job with it. And so they're being sent to the eunuch factory. There's just no other way to put it. That's what they're doing. To be, what did they call it? Not re-educated. I don't know. Restructured or something like that.
Something along those lines.
So they put them on a big conveyor belt and they're shoving them down the line. At one point, they have to have their clothes taken off. And so these two dudes show up on the side of the conveyor belt away from camera, and they are literally holding 2 battery-powered hedge trimmers.
Yes.
And they're just waving them back and forth. And they're very clearly not running. And all you hear is the sound effect of whirr, and they're about this well doing it. And Robert Urech's clothes just fall off. I'm like, come on, man. They're just having a little conversation. I'm like, I get it. We're supposed to think this is funny, but you got to try a little harder. You got to do a little bit better. You got to pick a different tool. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would have, even if you'd had big old hedge trimmers and just kind of did that number, I'd have thought that was funnier. But
yeah,
it's just that one moment of you're kind of throwing it in my face that you're just acting. But it was funny to watch him do it.
That is true. That was a moment that will stay with me for a very long time. One of my passion storms is just trying to think of this movie and how someone came up with it. And it is pretty much, I think someone had to have said, let's do Star Wars with all Han Solos. Because that's all I could think throughout this movie. Like, this is what Star Wars would be if every main character was Han Solo.
Yeah, you got a point. This does kind of sound like those books, because they made some Han Solo books, BITD, where he teams up with some smuggler friends. So, yeah, I see your point. I see it very much.
And that could be good, but I think ultimately it's not necessarily what we want from a film.
No, when you got your ensemble, you have an ensemble for a reason. So too much of a good thing is an actual thing that happens. So be wary of that.
Yeah. Well, what's your other passion storm, Bill?
So small, but yet makes me laugh every time. So after their passion storm, it finds out Jason and Karina have a child. And during the time warp, we get to see little baby Jason Jr. born. So when Jason Sr. is summoned to the door to meet his son, door opens, there's Nanny holding the baby and like, here's your baby. And he kind of looks in and he's like, he's perplexed and gives the little look and leans into the little tyke. And you see Urich clench his eyes and he goes, no. And the kid pees in his face. But let me paint this picture.
Please do.
This kid must be one of the best endowed babies of all time, because the view we are seeing is the back of the kid's head looking angled down. We see Robert Urich facing us at a slight angle, and off to the right side of the screen is Mary Crosby, and the pee comes from what only I could describe as this kid's big toe right into Robert Urich's face.
Yeah.
It is completely the wrong angle for what they're saying happens, which means baby Jason Jr. must have something going on.
Yeah.
That's the headcanon that I wrote for him at that point, where he was just like, hey, Dad, new boss on the block. Just showed him who was boss with his newfound equipment. So good on you, baby Jason Jr.
I guess so. Speaking of baby making, I found this passionately amusing when Jason and the princess are passionate and doing the deed. In this movie where water is a limited resource, he turns on the sprinklers while they're like, I don't quite get it. Is that trying to tell us that passion costs nothing to us? We are so, but like it also feels distracting, uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But he just puts on that passion storm, man.
Yeah. I had the same thought of, like I said, I was watching my wife and they're like, she goes, doesn't water scarce in this world? I'm like,
yeah,
that's what they tell us. But for some reason, at least in this one cabin, they've built a sprinkler system over top of the bed.
Yeah.
Which, one, it's going to cause so many problems. Like, you can't sleep in there after that. Like,
no.
That's not going to dry out. And then I was thinking, okay, so maybe the water's like those little tiny fountains you see at restaurants. And so maybe it's recycled from a little pool underneath. And when it's
also
all sprayed
gross.
down, it's recollected and sprayed again, which would be so gross if you're doing what they're doing.
Yeah, no, thank you. No,
I don't
thank
like,
you.
yeah, I don't find any of that sexy at all. That is just a weird.
Yeah, I do love Boba Bink's comment of, I think as the movie went on, they forgot the premise. And very
I think that
possible.
happens. They just be like, hey, something's got to happen here. Let's do this.
Oh man. Well, Bill, something's going to happen now in this episode, and that's that we have to rate this movie. And would you like to remind people how we do that?
I would love to, because it's one of my favorite things. We call this section 5 Nights for $1. This is something we thought of because back in the day, if you'd gone in your video store, you might have seen a rack or a shelf somewhere, and there might be a bunch of movies on it, and it might say something at the top, and probably either a dot matrix printout or a hand-drawn marker sign that would say something like 5 Nights for $1. Anything on the shelf, you pick it out, you take it up to the counter, you throw down your dollar, and if you want to keep it for 1 night, that's great. If you want to keep it for 5 nights, that's great. That's the deal. Totally up to you based on what you've picked out. So that's how we do our stuff. We do not compare our movies to any prequels, sequels, or anything else in the genre or anything else in the series, particularly this Macho Cheese series that we've done. This is literally the movie. We have gone in to our local video store. Mine, once again, Sight and Sounds on Maple Avenue. Rob, you were a Suncoast kid, but you had
you couldn't rent from Suncoast. You couldn't
Right.
rent from Suncoast. I was a movies at home.
You were,
kid.
yes. And I love that because nobody
Yes.
knows what we're talking about,
Nope.
particularly other than video rental store. But
Yes.
God love them. We do miss our locals. So we've gone, we've done it. We've taken it home. We've watched the Ice Pirates. How many of those 5 nights are you going to be keeping your copy, Mr. Robert Schulte?
Well, I think that I know how many nights I'm going to keep it, but I'm going to tell you why first. So there were a lot of aspects of this movie I had fun with. The screwball antics, the swashbuckling, the silly premise, the fact that they were kind of making it up as they go along. For some reason, there's a herpes bug in the thing that it loses the plot halfway through.
Yeah. 80s humor.
Yeah. Definite 80s humor, but also like could have been a plot line. It just wasn't. And so there's some monster loose in the spaceship till the end of the movie, and we do not clean it up. Lots of weird stuff, and that's why I would watch it. Did I like the story? Not very much. It really loses its footing. It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't need to either because it's silly, and I get that. I had to grow to like some of these characters too, and I'm not taking it too serious. A movie called The Ice Pirates, right? I'm not writing a college thesis paper here, but just make me want to like them, and this movie would have a much easier time for my viewing experience. So with that, I think I would keep it 2 nights because I would probably go back and rewatch some of the scenes that I did think were fun and enjoyable. Maybe put it on again over lunch a Saturday morning, and then I would go and maybe rent Return of the Jedi.
Totally valid, and probably on the shelf. Although they'd probably be keeping that one still for a premium in 83 to 84.
That's true.
But, you're going to find something else.
I'll find something similar to it. Maybe I'll watch Pin with Terry O'Quinn. But how about you, Bill?
Well, I've made a lot of my feelings pretty clear on this movie, but here's the thing. I also understand what it is and what I'm watching. So, Ice Pirates for me is a 4.5 night movie with this caveat. I'm not going to be in a hurry to take it back. Does that mean I'm going to watch it for 4 nights, bring it back half day through? No. I'm going to watch it at least 2. So this is a 2 view movie for certain out of those 5 days. And I'm just going to take it back because I have to take it back. And I know me, I don't like to be late. I don't want to pay any late fee whatsoever. But this is a movie I own. This is a movie I've owned on dubbed VHS, DVD, and special edition Blu-ray. There's something about this movie that hits for me. And like I said, I saw this movie in the theater, and I had a great time. So my feelings about the movie aren't tied to the experience I had of going to watch it. It's how much fun I had watching it, and how much fun I have watching it every time I see it. There are just things in it that always make me laugh. It is an endearing movie with points in it that resonate for me every time I watch it. It makes me happy to see it. It's not something I will watch on heavy rotation because it's not that kind of movie. This is one of those, once a year, maybe twice. It's a movie I'm anxious to show my stepson. We have movie night over at the house, and this is a great movie to watch with him that he's going to have. I know he's going to like. He's going to have a ball with it, and that means it's got extra life to it. So, despite its shortcomings, it's classic '80s flubs in some of the dialogue. Yeah, not the greatest story, but you take Robert Urich and you put him in this movie, and you give him more better parts than not better parts. And I'm going to be honest, that's not a lot. I mean, he's probably 60-40, where he's not a total jerk in this movie, but it works for me. And so I'm going to leave it at the 4.5 rating with the 2 rating watch, and know that it's in my pantheon of own movies because I went out and I found it and I tracked it down. So it will always live on long after my own heart has frozen solid.
Well, that's great, Bill. We hope to thaw your heart one of these days. And
I'm sure it'll happen.
Bill, we've reached the end of Macho Cheese. We're going to take a couple of weeks off, prep for our next series. Now, granted, we don't have to take as many weeks off as we used to because we're now doing the live stream, but we do like to give ourselves a couple of weeks of a breathing room. And that brings us into the next series, which would be the series that I get to choose. Now, one thing we should discuss for folks is that we have decided that, well, let's just give the lay of the land. I do my series, and then we've got, around October will be coming up, and, that means we have to, put out some spooky stuff on Pumpkin Spice Podcast. Now, will we be doing things in September? Yes. Will that be set in stone at this point? No. But Bill and I have plans, and we will be putting out some fun stuff. But before we get to that fun stuff, we are definitely going to do Rob's next series. Now, I'm done rambling because I have found the document I wanted to read off of. And I'm not exactly sure. Actually, I am sure, Bill. We're calling the sequence or the series Kingquels because they're movies that are sequels to Stephen King books and Stephen King movies that I'm pretty sure Stephen King never wrote sequels to. Now, I couldn't find Misery 2, but I did find some other really good King sequels. And we'll start off that series with Sometimes They Come Back Again.
God, I love it.
And
I love the effort that goes into when somebody commits to a sequel title, like we have to say the whole title of the first movie,
yes,
and then let you know that it's a sequel.
Yes. And so that's what we're going to do, Bill. We're going to get it going. It's going to be fun. And we have to remind everyone who's watching on the Twitch stream that they can hear all of these in perpetuity and everything else we've ever put out at patreon.com/BillAndRobs. Bill, we've got friends. We don't have fans. And that's where for $5 you can get our entire back catalog. Yes, exactly. And Bill, this has been great.
I'm glad. I'm always glad that you have a good time, even if the movies aren't the best. That's no secret. A lot of the time, I at movies at Rob. It makes me smile. It's a fun little game I play. It's never meant to harm. It's never meant to be mean.
No.
It's always meant to have a good time. And for years now, we've been having a good time because, Rob's not just my podcast partner. He's my pal. So
of course,
it's always good to talk movies with your pal. I encourage all of our friends out there, talk movies with your pals. You don't have to wait for us. Get out there and make movie night fun again. Just have some movie. I know the theaters are in the dumper and whatever, but however you find your movie, whether it's old school or new school, find something you've never seen before, give it a watch. Somebody tells you something's neat, watch some of it and have a conversation with them. Sometimes the conversation can be the best part, especially if the movie is indeed terrible, but even a bad movie can be a good time. So, and we thank everybody who comes along this journey with us and either listens along. Hopefully some of you out there watch along with us, and by they're seeing some of these things, we do get comments every now and then, or, I would like to think somebody would be inspired to check out some of our choices, Rob, especially some more of the off the wall stuff. That would make me very happy. So if you've done all that, hop on social media and let us know. Bill and Rob's, we're all over the place.
Excellent. And I couldn't say it any better myself. We're going to rate a friend, stick around and watch their stuff, and we will see everyone else next time on Bill and Rob's An Excellent Adventure.